Testing.
I follow my dream.
If you've ever dreamed of something big,
Maybe one day you'll be as famous as she is.
then get ready for a dream come true.
I'm gonna be the next big
In a Nickelodeon original movie
Somebody will clean that up.
Somebody like the janitor?
Hey, that's me.
about two unlikely friends
You trust me?
I trust you.
and the one secret that could change their lives forever.
Who are you?
Don't miss Keke Palmer,
a perfect harmony.
How to Rock's Max Schneider, Drake Bell,
Don't say anything, all right? Just sing.
from Victorious Avon Jogia,
Could you move over a bit? I just want the light to hit my cheekbones.
and Nick Cannon.
Y'all ready to get down?
It's your stage, Charlie. Take it.
Rags,
Rags? Yeah, everyone needs a stage name. I figure when you're huge, you'll need to remember where you came from.
the Nickelodeon original movie, is coming soon.
Nothing can tear us apart.
Rags was a Nickelodeon original movie from 2012. I remember liking it, but definitely forgot about it through the years. I was already a fan of Keke Palmer, and I knew Max Schneider from How to Rock. It was pretty cool seeing him get a TV show and his own movie in the same year. One unique aspect of the movie I always found interesting was that it's a Cinderella story, but gender flipped. And they stay with the gimmick for the whole movie, give or take a few parts. It was one of Nickelodeon's highest rated films, and is now considered an underrated gem from its fans. And you could argue for the channel that this movie is one of a kind. So let's find out what the Rags movie is all about.
I'm calling. Yeah, maybe I'm selfish.
The movie starts with our lead, Charlie, singing in the streets of New York City.
I never doubt my dreams, always live them out. I'ma tell the world they gotta hear me out.
I swear, you never saw this man without a ukulele. He had it all the time on How to Rock, and he whips it out constantly in this movie. After the song, he runs into a guy named Sean, who gives him some awkward encouragement.
Keep it up, man. Next time I see you, it better be on an album cover.
In the next scene, we get introduced to Katie Worth filming her music video. It gets interrupted by an audio glitch caused by Sean? Yeah, I don't know why he's in two different scenes minutes apart, but whatever. Katie expresses to her dad that maybe they're doing too much with the whole gold sets and outfits. She would rather wear her own clothes and sing her own songs. Her dad shuts that down, saying that it's all for her own good and the betterment of her career. Next, we have a weird parallel between Charlie and Katie. I call it weird because it starts with Charlie singing a couple bars from Someday, which is a bop, just to cut to Katie singing a completely different song.
Someday, I'm gonna be the next big thing.
Hate these clothes so much. Why can't they all see? The more I go through, I don't want to. Just want to be me.
I see what they were trying to do. Overall, they're trying to express how they both desire the same thing. I get that. But wouldn't it have worked better if they were both singing the same song? I don't know, it just made the scene feel weird. There are a lot of weird choices in this movie. Charlie gets interrupted by his stepfather, Arthur, looking like Harut's dancing ass. And it's here where we find out that Charlie's mother has passed and left the diner to Arthur, who has no intention of running it. He just wants to use it to push his talentless sons, Andrew and Lloyd, also known as Android.
When you combine Andrew and Lloyd, you get Andrew.
Shut your bitch ass up!
Next, we get the worst performance in the movie.
Yo, pretty ladies around the world got a weird thing to show you, so tell all the boys and girls, tell your brother, your sister, and your mama too, cause we're about to...
Don't you ever disrespect Cameo like that.
Motherfucker.
Apparently, there's a talent search going on, and these two dickheads are entering the contest. Later that night, we met up with Katie and her Hollywood boyfriend, Finn. Yo, is that Gracie DeZenny? And is that JG Quintel? Oh shit, I love regular shows. The next day, we meet back up with Charlie being forced to drop off Android's contest submission. On the way, he runs into Katie and briefly share a moment. Once inside, he drops off the CD and finds out they're hiring for a janitor position.
Wait, part-time janitor job?
$10 an hour. You have experience?
Experience. Cleaning. Why, yes, I do.
Back outside, we see Katie sitting in the park getting her songbook together. She starts to sing one of her songs, but then gets interrupted by a random fan. This takes place in New York, right? So I'm gonna assume that she's sitting in Central Park, which is massive, and all of them just so happens to hear Katie singing alone in the park. Either this is hella convenient or she got some stalkers. Soon after, we find Charlie at a local pawn shop, putting a down payment for a piano that belonged to his mother.
$9.57? Mm-hmm. At this rate, your mom's piano will be yours in 2021.
Wait a minute, hold on.
I love moments like this in older movies when they address the future while we're in it. Remember that scene in Sweet Life on Deck where they couldn't get a table until 2023? Which is wild because as of making this video, homie's still waiting. Charlie manages to get the janitor job and we catch him cleaning up the CEO's office. Hey yo, look at these fake ass photos. Homie got pictures with Justin Bieber, Big Time Rush, Shakira, and Katy Perry? What an odd mix of artists. Also, is this implying that he's worked with them, or he just got pictures with him, like a fan? Soon after, Katie Worth walks in with her friends, demanding to know what he's doing in her dad's office. Like he's not clearly in a janitor's uniform, name tag and all, then Finn shows up looking for Katie.
So what, are you like a rapper or something?
What do you mean by that?
Why did you assume he was a rapper? You saw him in a jumpsuit and automatically assumed he was a part of G-Unit? You thought he was making a J. Cole statement? What's up? They meet back up again the next day, noticeably more friendly, like she wasn't just grilling this dude yesterday. In the next scene, we see Charlie cleaning up the studio and he becomes infatuated with it. Conveniently, there's a mic set up and ready to go, so he decides to sing one of his songs. Sean just happens to be sleeping on the job and hears him. He says he sounds great and offers to make him a demo right here on the spot, which leads to a montage of them creating his first demo. The next day, we meet back up with Katie, stalking Charlie from a car. She follows him back to the pawn shop where he's placing another deposit. She soon walks in on him playing the piano, and they trauma bond over having dead moms.
My mom died too.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
How could you? I don't wear the My Mom Died t-shirt much these days.
Oh, brother!
Amidst the trauma bonding, Katie decides to share some of her songs. Charlie loves them and encourages her to release them. Katie says the songs don't fit the brand and the label won't let her. But Charlie's not gonna take that shit. He offers to take her to the streets and show her just how great her songs are. At first, she's nervous, unsure if her songs are any good. Charlie assures her that not only are her songs great, but the people will love them. And he was right. Everybody loved the songs, causing a large crowd to form around them. This might be one of my favorite parts of the movie. Unfortunately, a cop shuts it down and they make their exit on a bus. Katie invites Charlie to a ball the label is having as a show of her appreciation, and they have another little moment. That night, Charlie's sneaking back into the house but gets caught by Arthur and his goons. He finds Charlie's invite to the ball and takes it for himself, and a bunch of Cinderella shenanigans later, Charlie eventually makes it to the ball. And conveniently, it's a masquerade ball. Also, Nick Cannon is here, apparently.
Alright, y'all make some noise. Come on. I got babies at home that make more noise than that.
I bet, nigga. Also, real quick, before he finds Katie, there's a scene where everyone is dancing in unison. Like, it's kinda weird, and it reminds me of the scene from Ants. He eventually finds Katie and they share a dance, but somehow she doesn't know it's him. Soon after that, he meets up with Sean and he gives him the finished demo.
All done. Rags? Yeah, everyone needs a stage name.
So you call him Rags? You are better off leaving him anonymous. Or better yet, let the streets decide what his name is. While this is happening, we find out that the winner of the talent search was supposed to perform tonight, but they're late. So Android decides to take this opportunity to sing, but they are immediately booed off the stage. Then Sean takes the mic and introduces the world to Rags for the very first time. After the song, he runs off to beat Arthur home, but of course, he gets stopped by Katie, asking him who he is. And instead of just doing that, he kisses her and leaves like a thief in the night, leaving nothing but his demo tape. He manages to make it back in time, and no one was the wiser, except for one of his stepbrothers. The next day, we're back at the studio. Katie's trying to get her father to give Rags a chance. He tells her she shouldn't be worried about Rags and should only focus on her album. Homie is a bad father. Later that day, she finds Charlie. Somehow, he never told her where he lived. She goes on about how great Rags was, saying he should have been there. And I guess now is the right time to talk about it. How the hell did she not know it was him? I mean, she's heard him sing before. Y'all share 2 different songs together. They're the same height, same voice, like what more do you need? I mean, come on. This is Roxy level stupid. Also, Charlie letting this happen is just as dumb. You have nothing to gain from keeping this secret. She already likes you. You wouldn't have got invited to the ball otherwise. Now all of a sudden you think you're not good enough? Nigga, please. You're Rags. And Rags is a bad cat. She decides to hold a contest to find Rags, believing he'll reveal himself again. Her dad finds out about the contest and is furious. He tells her to shut it down, saying again that she needs to focus on her own music. And somehow Charlie gets blamed for all this?
And none of you ever listen.
Because you're too busy running around with that kid. Who, Charlie?
And yeah, this turns into a whole character getting feelings hurt because they heard a fraction of a conversation cliche. But the next time he sees her, homie ain't mad, so I guess that whole scene didn't matter. Back at the diner, Lloyd tells Charlie he knows he's Rags, but instead of telling his dad, he gives him some encouragement in a form of smashing glasses. Andrew's bitch ass overhears the conversation and ransacks Charlie's room, finding his songbook and a Rags flyer. He takes it to his dad and they come up with a plan. On the day of the auditions, they lock Rags in a janitor's closet. Hilarious. With the goal to have Andrew take his place as Rags.
You think that we're not mess the way they scream. I'll make them believe.
While this is happening, funnily enough, Katie's dog is the one to hear Charlie in the closet. They managed to get him out, but it was too late. I don't know why he just gave up like this. Is your dream not worth this? Is she not worth it? If it was me, I would have made a whole scene like the Wayne from A Different World. At the diner, Arthur throws a party in Andrew's honor, while kicking out Charlie in the process. Katie stops him before leaving, telling him to stay for the official announcement. She takes the stage and tells the world who the real Rags is.
I'm sorry for the confusion, everyone. Charlie, get your butt up here.
Yeah, took your ass long enough. They share a moment on stage, and then after his song, he takes the opportunity to reintroduce the world to the real Katie Worth. And the movie ends with Charlie finding out that the diner was in his name the whole time. He gets signed by the label, and Katie is allowed to finally express herself, and they share a kiss to close the movie. Charlie finally got his happy ending.
Keep it here. We'll be back before you know it. Let's get back to more Nick.
Overall, the movie was pretty good. It could be a little clunky at times, like the pacing was all over the place. There were a lot of random 2-minute shots of both Katie and Charlie that didn't really add anything to their story or characters. Also, it's not that funny.
I want to take you someplace. You trust me?
Ever since I was a little girl, my dad always told me, Katie, trust the janitor.
Come and knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and his.
I wasn't expecting like a laugh out loud movie, but give or take 1 or 2 scenes, they kind of played the movie straight. But besides that, nah, I enjoyed the movie. I can see how it has such a strong following. Arguably, the best thing about the movie was Charlie, played by Max Snyder. No relation. Oh my god, I just got it. His name is Charlie Prince. Prince Charlie? Prince Charming? You get it? You get it? It's a pun. It's a play on words. Oh my god, so clever. I like Charlie. He came across as very genuine and he didn't let his situation define him. He was a boy with a dream. Who can't get behind that? Given the Cinderella influence, it was nice to see that they didn't make him overtly nice. Like he was kind in the movie, but that didn't translate to him being so nice he's gullible. And though his relationship with Katie was kinda stale, I still felt they played off each other really well. I was more invested in their music relationship than anything else. It was nice to see Charlie being the first and only person really to tell her that she's more than just a brand, she's an artist onto herself. Oh, and yes, he would get his ass beat by Cyrus. Katie Worth, played by Keke Palmer. Fun fact, Keke Palmer was one of the producers of the movie along with Nick Cannon. Katie was fine. A little boring, to be honest. I don't know, it wasn't until they started singing Perfect Harmony for me to really get invested. With that said, I grew to feel for her. Ultimately, She just wants her music, her artistry to be her own. And because she's bound to the system, she can't do that. So it was very rewarding to see her finally have that moment at the end. Sean, played by Drake Bell, Sean acts as his fairy godfather, I guess. He gets him the janitor job at the studio, he makes his first demo, and he helps him perform at the ball. But besides that, Drake kinda sucks in this. Homie was not into it. He delivers his lines with the energy of someone with 5 minutes left on their shift.
Yeah, play the streets, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, any mitzvah you could book, really.
And there are other scenes where he's just awkward, like he's hiding something. Or maybe he was never a good actor, and I've just been blinded by nostalgia. Finn, played by Avin Jovia, I hate Finn. He adds nothing to the movie. He's supposed to be like the rival love interest, but if you took him out the movie, nothing would change. Honestly, one of the best parts of the movie was when Katie dumped him, and we never saw him again. Like, I genuinely don't know why he was here. He was completely irrelevant. Homie didn't even sing. With that said, shout out to Avin. Besides Charlie, he might have had the best performance in the movie. The rest of the characters just filled out the other Cinderella tropes. Diego and Martha were supposed to be the mice, and they worked at the diner called The Palace. Andrew and Lloyd were of course the evil stepbrothers. Arthur was the evil stepdad. You know how it goes. All of them did their jobs well, but none of them were that interesting overall. The music was also a highlight. Someday is probably my favorite, along with Perfect Harmony and Look at Me Now. I prefer the film version of Someday, but both songs are really good. Max Schneider is a very underrated singer, and I'm glad he's starting to get the recognition he deserves. His flowers are way overdue. Things aren't always what they seem is underrated, and Nothing Gets Better Than This is a hidden bop. Me and You Against the World is also pretty good. Arguably might be their best song together. Love You, Hate You is okay. It's a pretty good song, just not my favorite. Nothing against Keke Palmer, she did great. The song is just not for me. I don't like Hands Up. Or Stand Out for that matter. Hands Up just sounded like a generic hype song, really nothing too special, but Stand Out is just a boring song. It sounds like something out of Camp Rock, and I don't mean that as a positive. And I'm specifically talking about the studio version, not the film version. None of the songs were outright bad, but I definitely had my favorites.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Nick on the way. Let's get back to the action right now.
While I was watching the movie, I realized something. When was the last time Nickelodeon had a movie like this? I went to their catalog and I couldn't find much. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but it is interesting considering all the great singers they had on their roster. I guess I just expected more. Also, I've seen people compare the Rags movie with Let It Shine, which was bound to happen. This is How to Rock versus Victorious all over again. These are two completely different movies, telling completely different stories. One of them is a Cinderella story, and the other one's not. Like, how are you comparing the two? And I don't believe it's fair to say one's better than the other because these are two completely different movies. But since we're doing this, let it shine all day. It's the greatest DCOM ever made. How many times do I have to say this? Watch the video. But yeah, overall, this movie was really good. It has a lot of heart, it was very fun, and besides some editing and pacing issues, it was a solid movie. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Sleepless night, I lay awake tossing, wondering